seen that Trump is doing, they've implemented, they're going after mostly criminals. They're going after mostly criminals to get rid of them, the illegal migrants migrants that are here illegally, undocumented, and are also
who were arrested and let go.
They're in sanctuary cities. Chicago's a sanctuary city, so they'll arrest them and then they let them go. They don't turn them over to ICE to deport them. They just let them go. And they spent the Chicago City Council and the mayor Brandon Johnson passed a bill, and they set aside $51 million in Chicago for illegal migrants. And the people of Chicago aren't having it. They've been upset for at least a year, maybe two. And I'm going to show you right now. Here's one of them, right? So here we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. You spent over $574 million on illegal immigrants here in Chicago, Illinois since 2022. Now, you still feel like you have to harbor these illegals, which is not a good idea. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to challenge Tom Homan on this because he's trying to clean up our cities, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Now, let me just remind everybody here that Brandon Johnson is terrible with the budget. How is this $40 million credit line is going to work exactly? Because the key word is credit. So how much will we be using from this $40 million? And the real question is, how much will we be paying back? Now, you want to sit here, you and J.B. Pritzker want to puff out your chest and fight Tom Homan. We need Tom Homan here in Chicago. We need Donald Trump. And I don't want to see people like Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, haul you up out of here and become prosecuted. I don't want to see that happen. But they will do their job if they have to, Brandon Johnson. Now, we are $1 billion in debt. That's absolutely insane. Kamala Harris, she spent $1 billion on her campaign less than a year, and she's $20 million in debt. So it's looking like Democrats are bad with money. Now, you ignored me for 10 to 15 seconds last time I was speaking, and I really did not appreciate that at all. But I got a Christmas present for you. Let's remind the people of Chicago that Brandon Johnson spent $32,000 in campaign funds on haircuts and makeup. So I got an early Christmas present for you, Brandon Johnson. There's some makeup for you right here. You got some rouge, you got the makeup brush right there, so you can save these people some money for crying out loud. Now, let me tell you people, I'm going to be serious here. We need to start voting different in these cities like New York and Chicago. Stop voting these people in. It's not Democrat versus Republican anymore. It is populist versus establishment. It is the populist versus the establishment. Stop letting them trick you into the race baiting when it comes to Brandon Johnson. Oh, black people need help too. Trump want to hurt black people. What are you talking about? We're legal here. We are legal.
So Brandon Johnson was bragging about America, that Chicago is a sanctuary city. And he said Chicago has always been a place, the plan for sanctuary and immigrant justice. He has no plan. That's what
justice?
That's what Kit Cabello is going to point out from Heartland Media. He has no plan. He's never had a plan. There's no plan.
He's a puppet. Look at him. Look, from Jim Crow South to the furthest, you mean the Italian Mafia?
Chicago has always been a place that immigrants, migrants, and refugees have called home. It's a place where migrants and refugees from all over the world, from Jim Crow South to the furthest reaches of the globe, have come to build lives and contribute to everything that makes our city great. So, what's your plan? He said, here's the plan. Well, listen to what he said. As soon as Governor Abbott from Texas started putting migrants who are here illegally on buses to sanctuary cities. Well, you guys are sanctuary cities? I'm going to send you. Here you go. Sanctuary it up. And here's what he had to say about that.
The issue is not just how we respond in the city of Chicago. It's the fact that we have a governor, an elected official in the state of Texas that is placing families on buses without shoes, cold, wet, tired, hungry, afraid, traumatized, and then they come to the city of Chicago where we have homelessness, we have mental health clinics that have been shut down and closed. You have people who are seeking employment. The government.
So why are you a sanctuary city then? If you can't even take care of the people in your own city,
Yeah, it sounds kind of outdoorsy for a sanctuary city.
they closed 54 schools in Chicago, public schools, and you're bragging that you brag that you have a plan for sanctuary and immigrant justice. You don't have a plan. And here he goes.
Governor of Texas needs to take a look in the mirror of the chaos that he is causing for this country.
What?
This is not just a Chicago dynamic. He is attacking our country.
Who's attacking his state? So here's what
it was
it's,
a country, but then he sent him up north.
Yeah.
Now it's not a country thing no more.
yeah. So here's Kit Cabello from Hardlines Media, a Chicagoan, a veteran, friend of the show. Here's what he has to say about what he just said.
No, what the governor did is call out a lot of these sanctuary cities for their hypocrisy. Okay? So to all these activists that are out there, you know, I understood why people protest. I get it. That's your First Amendment right, as you should. But now we got to deal with the consequences of taking care of these people, and the city can't do it. And the residents of Chicago, from the north side to the south side to the west side, all across this city. And Chicago's a hyper-segregated city, by the way. This city's got a lot of problems. It's a powder keg ready to blow up because there's political instability, political corruption, crumbling infrastructure. 54 schools are still shut down. There's lack of clean drinking water. Half of our mental health facilities have been shut down. So it's understandable why Chicagoans are a little bit on edge now. I played this on yesterday's show, but I'll show it up here again. The city was never ready. The city was never ready for this, and there was never a plan. Sanctuary cities were only a way for liberals to feel good about themselves when Trump was president. Chicago cannot do this, and the people have a right to be angry. Let's listen to this woman right here.
Number one, I'm a native to Chicago. I was born and raised here. I've seen the changes. Don't let the age fool you for how I look, because I've been here a long time. I have seen things just transition as if a lot of people are not important here. I'm not for the sanctuary city. And the reason why I'm not for the sanctuary city is because people have waited years to come in here legally, not just transported on these buses, dropped off in our neighborhoods, raise of crime, almost got hit several times just making it down here today. And this is ludicrous. There should not be two sets of laws. Also, the West Side and the South Side Black communities have been earmarked for having funds never spent it. We're
Never.
still waiting on those funds to come into those communities.
But according to that first guy, they spent $500 million on illegal immigrants.
Where'd they get that from?
How
Who
do
gave
you
it to
tell
them?
me?
Brandon Johnson. Many people stood behind you. They feel let down because the day you came into office, which I believe was May 15th, you already had signed an executive order. Now, whether it came from Governor Pritzker or whomever that directed you on this, is it fair to these communities that have been waiting for years? You said you're on the West Side, but you should know what's going on over there as well. Wow.
So again, this is not about you being angry at the illegal immigrant. This is about you being angry at the billionaires who opened the border and flooded your country, put them on airplanes and flew them in to lower the wages and split the communities, split people apart, and make it and undercut unions. That because if I was a desperate person in another country, I would do the same thing. I'd come here and take a job, and I would come here illegally.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for the sex offenders.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not-
understand how
no,
that's a thing.
I'm not
It's
talking
so
about-
insane of a thing that I don't even understand how people don't see how on purpose they are just trying to ruin you. It's not they're just not that into you; they hate you.
So when people say, "Oh, illegal immigrants come here and take my job," they didn't take your job. Your job was given to someone in a more desperate situation that was imported to come here because they're in a more desperate situation and are more willing to work for a lower wage than you. And so if you think an immigrant took your job, they didn't. Your job was given to them by a capitalist, by a corporation, by a billionaire. That's what happened. By a company that owns 5 other companies. Here's more people. Here's more black people in Chicago being upset at Brandon Johnson doing his sanctuary city stuff in Chicago and harboring criminals.
Hey, it's weird. It's almost
When
like just because someone is remotely similar to my pigment, it doesn't mean they have my best interest at heart.
When the city of Chicago has millions.
By the way, he was starting to go after the extreme right.
Oh, by the way, so Brandon Johnson, the Chicago mayor, was blaming all this on the extreme right rhetoric and misinformation.
Well, some of these immigrants are very right wing.
Yeah.
These are recent videos that came out April 17th of 2024 of Black voters calling out and confronting and speaking out against Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Upon millions of dollars to give to people who ain't paid a dime into the tax base. We've been in my building for 52 years. We about to pay some more taxes. The Jones family has been in their building for 45 years, paying taxes every year on time. So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. But I tell you this, and I'm telling every other Black alderman in here today, you vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats. You can believe that. You're gonna stop pimping the Black people's plight to get brown people, as y'all call it, money. Now, to align yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worried about your job. You better be worried about your longevity, because we're gonna vote and we're gonna get you out, because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is.
All these people sitting here, they're a member of one party, the Democratic machine. These Black ones do not have our interests. They work for the master.
Thank you. I need you all to stop shouting.
And then he kicks them out. And then the mayor kicked them out.
Gradually reducing gray is as easy as shampooing your hair with Control GX from Just for Men.